At one point in time, WCW Saturday Night was the premier WCW television show, and it served as the weekly destination for all things World Championship Wrestling. The 6:05 Saturday Night TBS time slot has history dating all the way back to the 70s with Georgia Championship Wrestling, originally airing on WTCG before getting renamed WTBS in 1979, and Grapple fans during the mid to late 80s would enjoy Jim Crockett Promotions' World Championship Wrestling show in this time slot before the Turner buyout. But what we're going to look at today is the first episode of Saturday Night that aired on April 4th, 1992 from the Center Stage Theatre in Atlanta. The WCW Saturday Night show would become WCW's flagship show until the debut of Monday Nitro in 1995. It would then serve as a secondary television program as WCW went to war with the World Wrestling Federation on Monday nights, and in 1998 the overall importance of Saturday Night was diminished even further when WCW Thunder began airing on the Superstation every Thursday. So WCW Saturday Night in that 6:05 time slot definitely declined as time went on, almost to the point where fans who just got into wrestling during the Attitude Era would see it as no more than a filler broadcast that didn't mean a whole lot, and in fairness, WCW were way too focused on Nitro to even care about Thunder, let alone Saturday Night. Let's go back to the very first episode of WCW Saturday Night though in 1992, and let's see how WCW wanted to present this new show. We'll also take a look at the matches that were shown and talk about what happened inside the ring. The show starts with the usual World Championship Wrestling signature, and we cut over to Brian Pullman wrestling Jushin Liger. The tape then stops and Jesse Ventura says, "This is no way to start a new era in World Championship Wrestling." Mate, I would have been more than happy to start with Pullman versus Liger, but okay. Ventura then shows us the new studio at Center Stage, and look at these two right here. They look fucking delighted to be here for the inaugural episode of Saturday Night. Ventura then sends it to Eric Bischoff, who acts all surprised to get caught on camera. He's like, "Whoa, wasn't expecting you there, what a surprise." Eazy-E says, "We're coming from the studios of World Championship Wrestling." He welcomes fans to Saturday Night, and he sends it over to the ring where Jim Ross stands, and we can see he's got a few chairs. So it looks like Saturday Night's gonna have talk show elements. It kinda gives off WWF primetime vibes. The show has a neon theme going on, with bright neon WCW signs being seen around the studio. Ross says, "We're gonna see Flyin Brian versus Brad Armstrong." Awesome. We're also going to see the Fabulous Freebirds versus Diamond Dallas Page and Cactus Jack. That's awesome too. Ravishing Rick Rude versus an unnamed jobber. Yeah, I'll take that. And the main event tonight is a TV title 2 out of 3 falls match. Stunning Steve Austin versus the Z-Man Tom Zenk. Yeah, okay, we'll take it. That's a pretty solid lineup of matches though for this first broadcast. Ross then introduces Jesse Ventura as his co-host, and the two talk about the 2 out of 3 falls main event. Ventura says a 2 out of 3 falls match lets the competitors make a mistake but still come back and win the match. Great insight there, Jesse. And then we cut over to Tom Zenk, and the Z-Man says this main event is an opportunity of a lifetime. Tom says he's been on a roll recently and he's ready to take the belt away from Austin. Paulie Dangerously will get his face knocked off if he tries to interfere. Paulie says there's no one better to main event the first episode of Saturday Night than Stunning Steve Austin. And Austin says he felt generous, so he gave the Z-Man 2 out of 3 falls. But even with all this opportunity, Austin doesn't think Tom Zenk's man enough to win the belt. After a commercial break, Jim Ross says we're going to see a light heavyweight title match, Brian Pullman versus Brad Armstrong. We get to see some clips from the excellent Pullman versus Liger match at Super Brawl 2, and Jim Ross reminds Ventura that Brian Pullman and Brad Armstrong have been tag team partners in the past. Jesse says, "Fuck that, throw friendship out the window, it's all about winning the belt." The first match that aired on Saturday Night then does not take place inside the studio, it's in the Georgia Mountain Center, and also it's pretty good. Armstrong hits the mat after a unique takedown and he has to fight his way out of a hammerlock. Pullman comes back with a head scissors, a dropkick and an arm drag takedown into an arm bar. Flyin Brian then makes a mistake in the corner and he's a little confused about what to do next, so Armstrong takes advantage and the match goes down to the mat once again. JR says that Brad wanted to keep this one grounded as possible and he's doing a pretty good job. Brian stands up and he performs another head scissors. He follows it up with a victory roll, but he only gets a 2 count. Brian then goes back to the arm before transitioning into an abdominal stretch. And check out Armstrong's hip toss counter right here before applying another arm bar. That's nice. Armstrong tries to prove that whatever Pullman can do, he can do better by applying a grounded abdominal stretch of his own. The two get up again and Pullman misses a dropkick when Armstrong holds onto the ropes. Brad then performs a Northern Lights suplex, but Pullman stops Brad from going to the top rope with a dropkick. Pullman then performs a crossbody from the apron and both guys try to dropkick each other with neither man being successful. And we then see a ton of near falls, including a crucifix pin from Flyin Brian, a crossbody counter from Armstrong, and Brad also kicks out of a cover after Brian performs a spinning wheel kick. The match ends when Brad gets his knees up when Brian goes for a top rope splash, but Brian shakes it off and we see Air Pullman, ending a pretty competitive match on the first ever episode of WCW Saturday Night. Ron Simmons gets interviewed next and we get an introduction video telling us all about Ron's accomplishments and what he's like as a person. His football coach says everyone's praying for Ron's success. We see Ron discussing the dangers of drugs to kids, and Ron even brought the kids to see him wrestle in the Omni. Tony Schiavone, who provides the voiceover, says that Ron has a reoccurring dream. In that dream, Ron becomes the World Heavyweight Champion, so they're hinting here that Ron's maybe going to get a title shot soon. Ron gets in the ring for an interview, and Ross wants to know what it means to Simmons to visit youth groups and what it means to be a hero to kids. Ron keeps it real as fuck by saying he's only human and kids need to realise all sportsmen are only human too. Heroes can be found in every neighbourhood and regular men and women should be looked up to just like the sportsmen and wrestlers kids see on TV. Ron encourages kids to stay in school before talking about Sting. It's a natural segue. Sting worked hard to become WCW champion and Ron's glad Sting defeated Vader. If Ron gets the opportunity to wrestle Sting for the title though, he'll take it right away. Ventura brings up the fact that Ron could become the first black world champion, and Ron says that fact gives him a lot of motivation. Again, he wants to keep it real and he says history proves that life hasn't been easy for black men in the United States, so for Ron to be a positive role model, he can't think of anything more positive than becoming world champion. Ventura then builds up Rick Rude a little and Simmons wants to show Ventura how he would handle the Ravishing one. He takes off his shirt and he flexes and Jesse says, yeah, he looks pretty good. We then go back to the arena for a tag team match, Cactus Jack and Dallas Page versus the Fabulous Freebirds, Michael P.S. Hayes and Jimmy Jam Garvin. Maybe not everyone's favourite incarnation or representation of the tag team, and you don't get Bad Street USA either here, but still, that's 4 Hall of Famers competing in this tag team match. It's a big old brawl to start things off and Cactus ends up on the outside, leaving DDP all alone to take a back body drop. Cactus then does a little damage to Garvin on the outside, and when it gets back in the ring, we get DDP and Hayes doing a bit of work. Dallas tries to leapfrog one too many times and he gets slapped across the face. Garvin comes back in, Dallas takes a shoulder block, but Cactus attacks from the apron. Still, DDP misses a double axe handle and Garvin tags in Hayes. Hayes takes a side Russian leg sweep, but he gets right back up and Hayes wins the match with a DDT. Absolutely nothing to write home about. Actually, the match is kinda shit. Michael Hayes says the Freebirds want the tag team titles before Saturday Night takes a commercial break. Next up, we're going to learn about how things escalated between US champion Ravishing Rick Rude and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat before we witnessed the greatness of a Ravishing Rick Rude squash match. At Super Brawl 2, Steamboat came to the ring with a ninja, and towards the end of the match, Ricky had Rude defeated. The ninja then attacked Steamboat with a phone, and we all know who walks around with a big brick of a phone in WCW. On WCW Pro, Ravishing Rick tried to choke Steamboat with his own black belt, but Steamboat performed a karate thrust to the throat. And look at Rude's sell job here, it's fucking awesome. Steamboat got revenge by choking Rick out, so things were seriously heating up in this rivalry. Rick Rude then comes to the ring for a match. He tells all these fat, out of shape country bumpkin losers to keep the noise down while the Ravishing one takes off his robe. No idea who Rick's wrestling here, it's some randomer with white trunks and even the commentators don't know who he is. They refer to him as the guy, and the guy is pretty fucking awful. Rude pulls off a knee to the midsection and the guy just crumbles. He hits the guy with a suplex before showing off his body to the female fans in attendance. Rick then delivers a few knee strikes, we see the Rude awakening, and that's it all over. 7-star match, don't miss this one. We then get taken to Eric Bischoff in the control room, or Eric Bischoff's WCW magazine segment, whatever. And Bischoff wants to talk about the Sting versus Big Van Vader rivalry. We see a clip from Worldwide where Sting tried to stop an attack from Vader, and check out how far Randy Anderson flies when Vader pushes him away. Randy almost lost his perm with that one. Vader no-sells a chair shot, and Sting's like, alright motherfucker, how about this? Sting goes to the top rope, but Vader catches him with a big old power slam, and we then see a splash from the big man. Not a great night for Sting. Vader and Harley Race then cut a promo, and Vader says the final lesson of the pain game's begun because Vader has a PhD in pain. Harley Race says Sting should take a close look because Vader's going to be the next world champion. Sting says that PhD Vader has sounds fake. Sting's been in WCW a lot longer than Vader has, and WCW is the school of pain, so maybe Vader should think twice before trying to dish out any lessons. Bischoff says someone who's been paying close attention to this Sting vs Vader rivalry all the way from Japan is the great Muta. Fans can expect to learn more about Muta on tomorrow's episode of Main Event. God damn it, I want to watch Main Event now. You got me, Eric, you got me. News just in, holy shit, WCW executives are investigating an attack by the Dangerous Alliance on Ricky Steamboat. Details are a bit sketchy, but Eric has some videotape. We cut to the tape and we see Steamboat smacking the shit out of Medusa. Okay. Steamboat shows remorse, and while he's begging for forgiveness, Rick Rude hits him on the back with a chair, and the Dangerous Alliance then attacks Steamboat on the outside. WCW Executive President K. Allen Fry barred DDP from talking about WCW policies in his promos, so DDP interrupts a Steve Austin promo to talk shit about Fry. Doug Dillinger showed up and Page had to shut his mouth. Bischoff says we'll hear from Fry tomorrow, and I can't wait. WCW mega fan Shannon sent in a letter wanting to know why Rick Rude talks bad about New Yorkers, yet he's managed by a New Yorker himself, Paulie Dangerously. Rude says it's all about the money, and if the money keeps coming in, then Paulie and Rick Rude will continue to win. It's now time for the studio match, the main event of the evening, a 2 out of 3 falls match featuring Steve Austin versus Tom Zenk, and Steve Austin's TV titles on the line for this bout. There's a decent amount of TV time left too, so let's settle in and watch this one. Recently, I haven't got a chance to watch TV matches of this nature on the channel, so I'm kinda looking forward to this one. Dodgy NWO referee Nick Patrick's our referee. It starts with a clean break from the Z-Man in the corner. Austin looks a little embarrassed after Zenk puts him down with a shoulder block, and Zenk tries to get the first pinfall with a backslide, but Stunning Steve kicks out. Austin gets out of a side headlock with a back suplex, and fuck's sake, Austin grabs a chin lock. Paul E watches on as Zenk suffers through the most deadly move in all of professional wrestling. The Z-Man tries to fight out, but Austin brings it back to the mat, and I'm going to say that's the same chin lock. I wouldn't count that as two. The two men get up, Zenk ducks 2 clotheslines, and he puts Austin down with a running crossbody. Zenk then performs a dropkick that hits its target, but Austin swats away the second. We then see a back elbow from Stunning Steve followed by a gut-wrench suplex. It seems like nothing at all can hurt Tom Zenk tonight though, as he immediately gets back up and Austin gets floored with a few kicks and 2 right hands. Zenk then rolls up Stunning Steve, but Paulie jumps on the apron to distract Patrick. Austin reverses it, he grabs Tom's luminous pink tights, and Steve Austin gets the first fall of the match. Saturday Night then takes a break, and we come back to see Zenk bitching about the first fall. Austin attacks from behind and he throws Tom out of the ring, and Austin's able to do some damage at the guardrail while Paul E distracts Nick Patrick. Man, Nick Patrick has to be the worst referee of all time. Zenk counters a double axe handle from the apron, and now Tommy Boy can do some damage at the guardrails himself. Zenk stays out there longer than he should have though, and he ends up getting thrown into the ring post, and again Nick Patrick gets distracted by Heyman. This allows Austin to do further damage to Zenk's arm and shoulder. Back inside the ring, Austin misses a corner elbow, and this allows Zenk to perform a hammerlock. I mean, it's a bit late for hammerlock submissions, but okay, do what you want. The Z-Man then tries that sweet arm drag takedown we saw Brian Pullman do earlier in the show, and it gets totally fucked up here. So he grabs another hammerlock, and yeah, this one's getting worse instead of better. Austin drills his knee into Zenk's arm before applying an arm bar. Zenk's got this look on his face like he has no idea where he is or who this guy stage, trying to break his arm in half. Austin then moves into another hammerlock, and fucking hell, I should have known better really. They've stayed on the mat way too long here. Zenk fights out, Austin gets whipped to the ropes, we see a crisscross and Austin drops to the mat. Zenk runs straight in with a Luthez press and Zenk scores the second fall. So whoever scores the next fall leaves WCW Saturday Night with the TV title. Zenk's got himself a big old bottle of competitive juices and he takes a big swig before we cut away for a commercial break. Here we go then, boys, the final fall of this illustrious TV title match on the first ever episode of WCW Saturday Night. Big night, big stakes, big old load of shite. Both guys' arms must be nearly falling off after all these arm bars and hammerlocks, but they're going to persevere. Austin performs a knee lift and Zenk takes a big clubbing blow to the back. Stunning Steve then delivers a suplex, and gotta hand it to Austin, at least he's selling the arm. Austin misses a leapfrog body guillotine and he takes a clothesline. He does manage to dodge a corner attack though, and no, fucking no, it's an arm bar. Even Paulie's disgusted. The crowd chants Z-Man as Zenk fights out. He performs a wrist lock and Jesus fucking Christ, I can't believe this. Paulie's now on the phone to Ted Turner, telling him all about this fucking horrible shit going down on the Superstation. The two get up, they throw punches at each other, they look absolutely exhausted. Stunning Steve takes a back body drop, a hip toss, and a drop kick. Zenk gets confident and he charges into Steve, but Austin performs the stun gun, and with mercy, the match is over. Austin covers Zenk and Austin wins the match. Oh, that was something else. I don't mind mat wrestling at all and I actually enjoy it, but this is a fine example of holds getting used to simply waste time and drag things out. It's also fine to waste time in a rest hold if you can disguise it well enough in the context of the match. Austin, to his credit, did sell the arm, but Tom Zenk certainly didn't, and they went back to the same hold way too often. I'd love to say something positive about this one, but it's not a good match. I'm sorry, it wasn't good. Jim Ross lets us know that next week we'll have another 2 out of 3 falls match. My god. Greg Valentine and Terry Taylor defend the US Tag Team titles against the Fabulous Freebirds. Jesse Ventura couldn't care less, he just wants to see how Jim Ross looks wearing sunglasses. We cut over to some pre-tape promos from the tag teams, and Jimmy Garvin says the US titles are coming to the Freebirds, and after that it's the World Tag Team titles. Terry Taylor says he doesn't think so, and the champs don't play like that. Play like what? Like what? I don't get it. Greg Valentine says 2 out of 3 falls puts the champs at a disadvantage, and I really don't think it does, mate, but whatever. The Hammer's confident that the champs will successfully defend their tag team belts next week on Saturday night. Ross wraps it up by promoting WCW's next shows on TBS. Jesse Ventura says WCW's the future of professional wrestling and JR doesn't look good in shades. And that was the first ever episode of WCW Saturday Night. So was the first ever WCW Saturday Night any good? I thought it was. Yes, the main event could have been better, but you got to see a lot of WCW's biggest stars, even if some guys only got a very short amount of TV time. But you got to see Rick Rude, Ron Simmons, Brian Pullman, Sting, Vader. In terms of the in-ring action, the Brad Armstrong vs Flyin Brian match was definitely head and shoulders above the rest, but it's also good to look back at guys like DDP, Cactus Jack and Steve Austin to see what they were doing before their big explosion in popularity during the Monday Night War. With reliving the war going on right now, I find it fascinating going back every now and then and thinking about what would become of these guys as time went on. Well, not just these guys, any guys who got popular during the war. The production of Saturday Night 2 I thought was good. There are similarities to other WCW television shows during this time period, but the overall theme of the show and the presentation of the show would become synonymous with World Championship Wrestling, so yeah, it looked good, it's a historic show, and I still had a good time watching it. Unfortunately, the guys over at WWE Network and Peacock won't pull the finger out and get the rest of WCW Saturday Night uploaded. Only 1992 and 1993 is currently available, with a couple of episodes from 1994. So there's a ton of key matches and moments still missing from WCW's library that really need to be on the service. I know WCW's tape library was an absolute mess when the WWE acquired it, but this kind of stuff should be available by now. Anyway, that'll do it for now. Thanks for watching this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and take care.